Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights. Cameras. Hit me. This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
CNN African Voice is the first one, and the second one from TV3 as well. Focus is on Black Sheriff and his genre of music, which is Highlife music, he says, plus working over hip-hop beats, or inspired by Highlife over hip-hop beats. Beautiful, isn't it? Now, this morning, that brings to us a big conversation on positioning Highlife music for global consumption. Very interesting. Let me say kudos to Black Sheriff on this as well, taking the major lead or following suit as well from his predecessors. But before we even get deeper into the conversation, Nana Mpedu also really explains what Highlife music is. Let's listen. Okay, just having a bit of a technical challenge there, but we'll definitely bring that footage to you. So it is on positioning Highlife music for a global conversation. Now, well, I've been told my video is ready now. So how about we go and check out that video? When we come back, it will help us with our narratives this morning on Culture Daily. Check it out.
It was originated in Ghana. When you hear any song, and you hear this, the clips, ka, 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 ka. If the person who composed this kind of rhythm gives it another name, he is lost. It's Highlife.
Music that goes with, that is Highlife.
As the castanet goes ka ka ka, then later on they add one drum, ka 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 giding gada, ka ka giding gada.
Pop 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 pop, pop pop. Pa, 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 or maybe pa, 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 pa.
Now that you've heard this consistent rhythm from the leaders of the school at that time, explaining in very simple rhythm what Highlife music is, I would have taken us back to play a few Afrobeat songs. But because of streaming and copyright flags, we will not be able to do that. But now you can do that homework for yourself and ask yourself, Highlife music. Yes, we say you can have elements of Highlife music in what we hear today as Afrobeats. But really, is it Afrobeats or is it Highlife music? But let's open the conversation this morning and let's go deeper into it and educate ourselves. We've heard from the leaders of the school from back in the day, Nana Mpedu, A.B. Krensil, and them talking about the rhythm of what Highlife. He said that if you hear that ka 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 in there and the person says it's any other thing, it's a lie. Now, we'll go into some of Black Sherry's songs, and I'm happy he positions himself as a Highlife artist, but works on hip-hop beats, which is fine because it's a fusion and music evolves. But is this the right time for us as Ghanaians to not per se shelve or shove the Afrobeat somewhere because it's a global conversation now where it's a key or a gateway to reach certain international platforms? But could we also now present the truth to the world? Would there be a right time for us to do that if we all rally behind? How do we go about this? Now, this is going to be our conversation this morning. But before we jump into the convo, don't forget that living an expensive life doesn't mean that you are spending a lot of money. It's also the quality of the product that you are using.
Boss.
And that's why Bang & Olufsen will be the ideal products, electronic gadgets for you to use. Oh, every single day, passing month, year, Drew-worthy electronic gadgets are ranging from home theaters, speakers, headphones, TV sets, soundbar products are released. Go past by their their showroom. It's at Atlantic Towers, ground floor, Liberation Road. You can't miss it. Bang & Olufsen, like no one else. And also From Tuesday all the way to Sunday at Tunnel Lounge, lots of things happening there. Each and every single day is an activity, except on Mondays where they don't open. If you want to book Tunnel Lounge for your events, wedding receptions, parties, call 0551 556 444 or 0551 556 999. That's 999. Calabash Calabash Color Festival is also happening on the 9th of September at 12 noon at the Untamed Empire, playing around with colors, party, music, dance, jam, artists performing, Kwamina MP, Sefa, Dope Nation, Banzi Banero, Maya Blue, who are all Highlife artists, by the way. We'll be performing on that day. Just imagine if we had 10 more...
Hosey.
Just imagine if we had 10 more new school artists now promoting and changing the narrative around Highlife, from branding in terms of how they dress, from language in terms of what they're saying, still maintaining the consistency in the rhythm. And then now we're pushing a hard force, saying that we are strong Highlife artists. Highlife is a life. I think it will rebirth hip life. Anyway, tickets are going for 150 and 250 Ghana CD doubles. Cyril is very excited about this. He wants to spit fire. I can see the fire. Someone said Dragon. Somebody said Dragon.
Baby Dragon.
Dragon.
Cute Dragon.
Cute Dragon. So yes, grab your tickets now from Nalem, from Frontback, from Frankie's, from Pokey House. Okay, hurry up, do that because it's going to be lit on that day. And then I'll tell you more about the 590 Mobile Plus 3 Music's partnership with Yango and how you can use that promo code if you're a first-time user of the app to enjoy some partly free rides. All this lined up, plus Betway, some great news for us. Time check 9:16, streaming live on 89.9 FM as well as on 3 Music TV. Guys,
if they are watching on Facebook, they should remember to share the link.
Yes, share the link as well.
It's about to go
the
down.
Malams who have been posting on that app page,
they need to stop it.
No, share the link.
Okay.
You can post and share the link.
The Malams there.
Yeah, the Malams. I see a lot of Malams posting on there, please.
You say the gods get high.
Facebook is such a brutal place.
I know, right? So please, Dragons, you can now spit fire. Positioning our Highlife music for a global audience or consumption. Is this the right time for us to do that? But let's start off with Black Sheriff first. What do you think about his take on what he defines, I beg your pardon, himself as?
I think he knows himself. He knows himself.
Yeah.
He knows himself to the extent that he knows that, okay, I am Highlife, as he quoting him, I am Highlife, but then also he can, dabble in whichever other genre he wants to dabble in, but the base of his music will still remain Highlife. We've said it here how Black Sheriff is a Highlife artist. Mm-hmm. We've said it before. So I agreed with you, and I think Olele agreed with you as well.
I want to ask this question: Are fusions advisable? I was going to say necessary, but I've changed it. Are fusions advisable? Does it hurt originality, or does it, just create more options for music enjoyment purposes?
Fusions as genres, or fusion for the song?
Yeah, so I do Afro beats, but I want to add pop, so then I start calling it Afro pop. Are fusions advisable? Because at the end of the day, we always hear, I think we've partly answered that, but we always have all these other international artists they fuse, but they stick to one particular brand and tags.
But that's what Black Sheriff has done.
Are fusions advisable? I mean, based on what you were saying, I'm asking, are they necessary or are they advisable?
Is what I'm saying. That's what Black Sheriff has done. If you say that our international artists,
I know.
So he's also sticking to his Highlife, but
are they advisable?
I don't mind it. I don't. Okay, well, to me, I don't mind it once the song is a good song, right? I don't think there's a problem with it. Once the person knows that, okay, I want to identify as X genre, but I can also, once a while come in and out. We even use Stoneboy's album as an example, The Fifth Dimension. Stoneboy is a dancehall artist. We all know Stoneboy as a dancehall artist. But with the Fifth Dimension album, what he's done is he's gone to put all he has his Afrobeat, Afrofusion, Afro dancehall, all of that in the mix of the Fifth Dimension. That also adds up to the quality of the album. So I don't mind it at all. Once it's good, it's fine, it's okay. Yeah.
I want to hear from the
I mean,
cute dragons.
I think first of all, I've always advocated that if we want to really, really be champions of a sound, then the leaders of the sound should be doing what Black Sheriff is doing. You notice that Black Sheriff is part of the A-list artists who have had the opportunity to, experience some kind of global, attention, with either his music or his interviews. And he's been on a lot of global platforms, and he's kept the message consistent that he's a Highlife artist. He's a Highlife artist. So even though some may argue that what he does is not Highlife, and like he said in the TV3 interview that he's a Highlife artist that obviously do tracks on hip hop beats, the conversation of Highlife does not die in the way. It's because that has been the Ghanaian identity in world music, and we've also seen the evolution of Highlife in several ways, right? Highlife, hip life are like twins, because hip life is definitely hip hop, and then Highlife, right? So I'm just out when I watched this video, I was like, okay, what Black Sheriff is actually talking about is like he's a hip life artist because the base of his music is Highlife, but he raps, or he raps or he ragas or he does reggae on this. He also said that he has reggae influences. Then I reminded myself of what Kojo Entry is, right? Kojo Entry,
Lavish
Rock, what do you call it? Highlife, R&B. So he was able to do all of these genres. He did at the time. He didn't want to be known as a Highlife artist. He wanted to be known as an Afro pop artist. But at the time, Highlife was what was in vogue. So Highlife will get you into the room, and Highlife will get you into the conversations and keep it going. And you're allowed to do whatever you want to do. You get me? And that's what Black Sheriff is doing. He knows for a fact that what he is doing is not entirely Highlife, if you want to bring it down to the barest minimum. But he has the influence of Highlife in his music. But as a Ghanaian, wanting to be known and identified by a sound, he would continue to preach the gospel of Highlife. Now imagine if Sarkodie says, okay, I'm a rapper, and what I do is hip life. Then that conversation about hip life will not struggle to say where is the position of hip life in this conversation, because hip life definitely goes along with high life, and that is already documented in world archives and world books and whatever that we have available to ourselves. So if we indeed want to position our sound, it rests on those who have the opportunity to be out there. Because if I go on a global platform and I'm going to speak about Ghana music, I'm not going to talk about Afrobeats. I'll talk about high life and hip life, because that is what we are known for. And besides, our cousins will not give us that. They will not allow us to rest about this Afrobeats thing. Because anytime we talk about Afrobeats, they don't want Ghana to be part of the conversation, and it's facts. Because whatever it is that we have to say about Afrobeats, they think, hey, we are always trying to do. Len, what's the word? No, what is revision?
It's an English word.
Revisionism.
That's what they say.
Yes.
St. Peter's for 5 marks.
That's what they say. Oh. They said we are dwelling on past glories and that we are not hot. If you go on YouTube, and I'm speaking to those who comment on our YouTube, I'm talking to you guys. We see the comments every day, and we see what you guys do. You don't want Ghanaians or Ghana to even talk about it. That how dare we talk about it? Like, we have no say. Yet when we talk about high life, you also don't want us to talk about it. So what do you want us to talk about? We are in Ghana and we are talking about our sound. We talk about how we can position our sound. And this ideology of envy, jealousy, pain, I think is very, very retrogressive as an African country, or as an African, as a continent, that we should look at who? Who else should we look at? Should we look at what's happening in
South
the US?
Africa partake in this narrative around Afrobeats, or they are very more focused on piano and kwaito?
You and I are not living in South Africa.
I mean, from what we pick up,
we won't be able to know. Ghana and Nigeria are the loudest West African countries on the continent. We are very loud, not just in music, in our movies, in our football.
But what do we pick off? What do we pick off South Africa? Are they? Do we hear narratives coming from, in terms of their pundits and their industry stakeholders? Do they speak about Afrobeats or they are more into?
I won't be able to speak on that because
I don't follow.
We don't follow.
Yeah,
it's
always Ghana, Nigeria.
Even on social
so that
media,
means that we don't get any activity, much activity from that side, even to draw Pan-African attention.
Central Africa, South Africa, Eastern Africa,
they hardly talk about it.
I mean, you rarely hear news or you rarely hear conversations about this. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I remember when Sarkodie went on a podcast in South Africa, right? And he was talking about the fact that he's heard this Amapiano sing, and they were just educating him about how, you know, Amapiano is and what it does and what it's made of and blah blah blah. He was like, oh, he would like to give it a shot. That was the closest you hear about a music industry in South Africa. You get me? But they're not like shows where you hear, or maybe they may be shows, but they're not as popular as Ghanaian and Nigerian shows. You get me? Until you are living in the country where you know what's happening. When I went to South Africa, like I was telling you, look, they are enjoying their music. They are okay. You get what I'm saying? Like, there is no, like, because they know what they have. And that's why when the conversation of the whole Ojapiano came up, KC was suffering a lot of backlash, or shall I say a lot of cyberbullying from South Africans, because, yo, we don't like
meddle in
your affairs. You get me? But the least you can do is to give us some credit. But instead, you wanted to make it look like we have like a, and that's what constantly happens with these conversations. Like, yes, granted, the sound gets popularized by our cousins. We don't have a problem with that, because what you are telling us is it is possible to position the sound in such a way that we can market it to make revenue, to make some money out of it. But when you decide to remove elements of history from that, and you start to look down on your cousins because you want to look good, that does not give it a good position in the first place. Because like we were saying the last time, when I was doing research on it, I realized that even us calling Afrobeats a genre, we may be mistaken. Because if the idea behind Afrobeats was supposed to be a collective or a collection of African music,
then it's not a genre. Interesting, I know, right?
So when the dust settles,
because then what really defines Afrobeats? Because I know jazz, I know how it sounds.
You get it.
I hear pop, I know how it sounds. I hear hip hop, I know how it sounds.
That's why we were saying the last time that.
What is the real definition for the genre Afrobeat?
You remember, it was earlier this week where we were saying
what is the rhythm for Afrobeat?
Is a lot of other genres that have come together. Is why I think it was Cyril who said that if it's Afrobeat is already a fusion. And so Burna Boy defining Afrobeat as Afrofusion, that means it's Afrofusion.
Yes,
exactly. It goes back to that conversation. So my name is what?
Burna Boy.
Yeah,
so it's still tautology. That's what it's a mix of a lot of genres.
Like, yo,
sometimes I just want to go.
I think because I was like, yo, I mean,
sometimes you have to do it.
I just want to go.
Because you see that, but then again, what it allows this is, or what it allows for is, like we were saying the last time, it's a passport, it's a visa to enter into the world music. But after you enter into the world music, it gives an opportunity to also listen to the indigenous sounds from Africa. It's just like the way the whites or the Western world think every country or Africa is a country. That's how I'm seeing it right now. Like, it was making sense to me that why do the Westerners struggle with all the enlightenment? Why do they struggle to see Africa as one big country?
Continent.
Sorry, they see Africa as a big country instead of a continent, like one country.
Because there's a lack of clear identity and differentiation.
And that is what's happening with Afrobeats. Because the world has now defined us by Afrobeats.
So when I
so if you have Fuji, you have Highlife, you have Makossa, or whatever.
You have taken the words right out of my...
The Western world is now seeing what we do.
They are now coming
as Afrobeats.
They are now. So that's what I said, that the Western world has gotten its attention. No, we've gotten the attention of the Western world, with Afrobeats, and they're like, oh wait, Africa does. Let them just be very satirical.
Yeah.
So, Africa does music. Oh wait, so it's not Zulu music. Like, oh, they do some kind of music. Okay, now let's go in there, and knowing the character traits of the West, like platforms like the Grammys and co, are now going to start doing research. They're not going to start sending their people into Africa. Coming into first, when they're now getting their passports and their visas, they'll go, oh wait, so there's a Kenya, oh there's a this, there's a that. When they come, they're now going to be hearing, oh, there's Zulu music, oh, there's this kind of music. You know what, let's go back and let's go and tell our people what we've heard, like slave trade times. And they'll now start identifying that, wait a second, when we went to Ghana, we heard something called Highlife, which actually serves as the foundation rhythm for a lot of the songs we are hearing, even what we are calling our Afrobeats now.
Yeah.
So now when we are going to start rewarding artists, we are going to start going back to asking ourselves, is Afrobeats a genre? If it is a genre, what kind of rhythm does Afrobeat present? Because now I've heard so many songs they call it Afrobeat.
There's a lot of fusion.
So now it is not a genre any longer.
It's a fusion.
It looks like it's a fusion. So can we now start? Are we right to reward Afrobeats? Because if I do Bobobo, which I went to hear from the Volta side of Ghana, and I sing Yoruba over it.
And it goes to America.
And it's remixed by this guy, Snoop Dogg.
A pop artist.
So, what am I rewarding? Who am I really rewarding? Am I rewarding the hip hop feel to it? Am I rewarding the Voltairean feel to it? I need to go and reward the foundation. That is what it stands. It looks like it may stand on.
No, but Jay, I don't also
we
think...
are working towards a very big confusion. But it's beautiful. It's a beautiful chaos.
It's a beautiful chaos. Yeah.
I don't also think that when you are awarding or rewarding a song, you break it down into what the base is.
Let me make fresh. Who put the yellow tin there?
Break it down
Who put the yellow tin there?
Oh, remove the yellow tin that's on Lenny's list.
Global something. There we go. Producer one.
Wow, guys.
They can put it back now. They can put it back.
I don't think when you are rewarding a song, you break it down into what the base is, right, and pick that. If not, a lot of other songs will break down.
Charlie, make no do that to Lenny.
Why you be loyal like that? Amnesty International.
Stay focused.
Amnesty International. Why?
Stay focused.
They are focused
We
ones.
ban Olele from coming on this session. Olele always want to bring the law.
Lenny, stay focused.
Oh my God.
You are at war. Stay focused.
It's that we love you. It's nothing. It's nothing but love.
See, right now she losing train of thought.
The train of
I'm
thought.
not
We go buy
lost it
tickets.
all. What I was
We go buy
saying
different
was
tickets.
we don't award or reward songs picking out or dismantling whatever genres or beats are aimed to reward the base, right? It's the whole. So at the point where we are going to reward these songs in reference to what Jay said, the Bobobo, the Yoruba, getting an American artist on it, you're rewarding the song in the end, right? Let's make reference to the Grammy category that they put out. They've roped everything into it, and that also includes Ghanaian drill. That's what also bred the conversation of, so how are you going to, if you nominate an Asaka and you nominate Ashake, how is that? Because those are different genres. Do you understand what I'm saying?
What we are doing is we are now putting them.
So there's a confusion. There's a confusion.
Because
so we now need to make that separation and education where they would know that Afrobeats is different. If it comes to Ghanaian drill, is different. Highlife is different. Hip life is different. You know.
I just want to ask a question. I'm throwing a question to the house. What defines a music genre?
Okay,
great.
What defines a music genre? Then after that, we can now strip it down and figure out if indeed Afrobeats is perhaps meeting that. You know, because just a quick one, right?
Bro, enter.
There's a song. Jackie did this song with JB. Running around with this one's in my hand. Scar, right?
Scar.
Charlie, you really the craze. You really the craze.
That's why I'm here.
Did he press his nose?
Yeah.
I was noted to you. My voice is not good. Running around with this scar in my face.
Now, I was having a conversation with a brother, right, who's like very musically inclined. I was like, "Oh, Charlie, Jackie and Drill's on the beat," and he was like,
"It's not drill.
It's not drill." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Even though the beat sounds like drill, there's one characteristic left that it did not more or less, complete it, and that is drill. The lyrics on drill beats are aggressive.
Yeah,
they are wild. They are. I don't know how to even.
It's also missing the sustained 808s.
You get me. So you see, the technical people, the technical people will listen to that song and tell you that it's not drill. But we will listen to the beats and we think,
and whatever the artist tells you.
Drill. So I think what we need to do, we need to actually have the conversation of what actually defines the genre.
Yeah, producer, Exhibit A. If we can go to Exhibit A, please, so that the lecture can start. So welcome to class.
Thanks, sir.
So this is the American Journal of Humanities and Social Science Research. It's a research paper that was written by one of our own from Department of Music Education, University of Education, Winneba, Ghana, Mark Miller-Scofie, all credit due. Now the title says Redefining Ghanaian High Life Music in Modern Times. The abstract, I'll summarize. The abstract, I'll read the first line and the last line just to give you an idea. High Life, Ghana's first and foremost curated popular dance music, has been overstretched by practitioners and patrons to the extent that presently it is almost impossible to identify one distinctive trait in most of the modern day recorded songs categorized as high life. So this is our problem. Now to the last line. The paper, however, agrees that categorizing modern day recorded high life songs based on timeline, rhythms, and drum patterns alone can be confusing and deceptive. The paper therefore concludes that indigenous guitar styles such as mainline, Yamponsa, Dagomba, Sichi, Kwao, or Donsong, amongst others, should be the chief criterion in recognizing and categorizing modern day recorded high life songs. So let's go to the second slide. Now, for this, what this is saying is basically what we've addressed here. Now, there's a problem. People are saying high life is
telling me Legon didn't make all this.
No. High life is high life. Samsung made it. high life is this, high life is that, high life is that, because we've had a problem of perspective. Like Olele was saying, somebody's looking at it from the lyrics, somebody's looking at how the lyrics were delivered, the style, some are looking at it from the beat, some are looking at it from other elements. So we might all be looking at the same song, but based on who you are and where you stand, you are saying this is high life or this is hip hop.
Now, where we are sitting.
Now, so based on this categorization, there's a table. Can we see the table, please? Based on this document's categorization and the conclusion that was drawn by the professors of music, not serial. So here they've categorized Ghana music, popular songs, and by the technicality of the song, timing, rhythm, instrumentation, they've categorized songs that we didn't even know were high life. So for Kofi Kinata, his songs that are high life songs technically are Susuka, Confession, Time No Day, Single and Free, Play, Things Fall Apart. I don't know if we have categorized them on the streaming platforms or at the awards as high life.
The streaming platform, we'll get to that part, so you can.
But with regards to the technicality of what the sound we are hearing is, for Kofi Kinata, these songs are high life songs.
Yep.
For Kidi, Odo, Adiem Pena, Thunder, Say You Love Me,
Boom, boom.
Say You Do, it's high life. Bad Man, Girl Them Sugar, technically all those are high life songs, but they are listed Afro something. Let's be going.
Afrobeats.
Kwame Eugene, High Life. Angela, Confusion, Wish Me Well, Walai, Ebeyeye, Ohima, High Life. Adina, Afro Pop. There's a list of songs. Ebony, who is a rapper, hip hop. A lot of songs technically fall under Afro Pop.
No, Ebony was dancehall.
Ebony, sorry, sorry, my mind came as no, sorry. He confused me. My bad. Afro Pop, Ebony, Afro Pop, but it's still wrong because she was celebrated and known as a dancehall artist. But technically, her sound was an Afro-pop sound. King Promise, Afro-pop. I think he's the closest to what he says he is in this ranking. Shatta, Stone, and Miss V have stood the test of time and have delivered on what they say they are. So the disconnect here that is showing is, if you can come back to the studio, please. Thanks, guys. The disconnect that's happening here is that some of the artists and their teams tell us what the song is because of where they think the song should be positioned, or who or whatever they think they are competing with when the song is created.
Oh, I beg, Sierra wants to see his face, so please.
We are done with the table.
The table of the screen, please.
So, for example, you are doing a song and you are looking at getting on the tour circuit, getting in the awards and everything, and Afrobeat is what is trending, right? So you do the song, once people are jamming to it, the tempo is a bit active, the tempo is a bit high, people are celebrating, it's an Afro-pop song, it's an Afrobeat song. But technically, the timing of your music, the instrumentation, the way it is delivered in its lyrics and style, all those things go to influence the genre that the song becomes. So the problem that we are facing here in Ghana is a lack of technical expertise. That's one. The people nobody should define a genre apart from by themselves. Yeah. The producer and the production should define it. Because guess what? If you go for an instrumentation from Coldplay or from any rock band, what you come and sing on it is irrelevant. That's a rock track. Why doesn't that apply
to
our things here?
Oh, cool.
When I go to Dr. Dre and I collect a West Coast
this whole year, Cyril, this whole year, from January 1st to today being the last day of September, the 10th month of August. This whole year, I don't know. So I can't think far.
So that's the problem. Now, just to pitch in, can we have the insert about the timing of Highlife, the 12/8 timing, so that I can explain that and explain the hip hop one as well? Production.
The guy has done his research in like 5 minutes.
No, this is hip hop. Okay, let's leave it here. So hip hop music commonly accompanies rapping, a rhythmic and rhyming speech that is chanted. Beats almost always are in 4/4 time signature. That's 4/4.
I mean, I count for them.
No, they go understand. No, I'm not going to.
I won't count them. Oh no, I won't count for them. So,
bring it back.
So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 1. Then you look 2, 3, 4, 1.
That is 4/4 timing. That is traditional hip hop music. So by the time the thing leaves the producer's drum pad or his production deck and he says, "J Foley, do this song for me," it's a hip hop beat you are working on.
Whether you go and sing,
whether you come and do
jazz on it,
it's a hip hop track. You came to deliver that bar.
So the base of the production,
the base of the production
defines the genre of the show.
If I give you Tico frame, and you build a Land Cruiser on it, is it a 4x4?
Like what my people are saying, you are chastising.
You understand?
They built.
Now, can we see the timing for Highlife?
Yeah, check it out.
The timing for Highlife as well, which is
this one. You'll get videos, views.
So Highlife rhythms are played over a time span of 12 rapid pulses grouped by threes into sets of threes into 4 main beats noted as 12/8. So
1.
It's 5 or?
No, it's accumulated.
I think after this we could play.
There's a rule. That's why. Listen, the 12/8 allows. You see the video we saw from all the legends doing it. They didn't use any instrument except for their
fingers.
Yes, which is a representative of the conga.
Conga, yeah.
Conga. The conga, the one instrument starts the music type conga for the genre. If you watch Highlife, it's not rock. Rock will start with the guitar. Guitar leads rock. Conga leads Highlife. And conga sets that 12/8. Before guitar will come. Now, let's take, could it be that you were never told? Keep your eyes on the road. Highlife. Reggie Rockstone delivered a hip hop rendition on it. Because the beginning of that song,
so regardless of fusion, there's always a bass.
Could it be that you were never told? Reggie's song started with the conga before the drums came. Dun, 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 dun. That's Highlife. And his rendition of hip hop birthed that measure of hip life we are doing today. So the instrumentation is the one thing that if we don't want to get lost, we need to religiously stick to understand what the genres are. Black Sherif's music does not have Highlife instrumentation. And he himself said so. He said he's a Highlife guy. His music, his inspiration, his spiritual whatever, his vibe is Highlife. But he chooses hip-hop beats. By virtue of the beats he chooses to exist on, his music is not Highlife. Do you understand what I'm saying?
But he's a Highlife artist.
But it's a Highlife artist. It's like, how do I say it? It's like if you took Chris Brown and Chris Brown has been on hip-hop songs.
Or even
wasn't he on Look At Me Now? But he was on a hip-hop. Was he a rapper on that song?
No.
Exactly. Look At Me Now. It's not R&B. It's not pop. With Busta Rhymes and all that.
Yeah.
He's been on several other songs like that. But he remains an R&B artist, even though the production was a hip-hop production.
So if that's the case, can Black Sherif also argue that he's a Highlife artist, but he happens to do...
That's what I'm saying, that he as an individual can tell us whatever artist he thinks he is. Nobody can tell him otherwise. So if he says he is, yes, if he says he's a Highlife artist, 100%, I agree. But the songs he puts out that are heavily stapled and glued to hip-hop beats cannot be categorized as Highlife songs. by the technical and by the audio nature of the material put out there, those are hip-hop. Some are trap, some are crunk, some are hip-hop, by virtue of the beat. Now, let's have the last slide about the Afrobeats umbrella thing so that I can wrap it up. The issue we are facing here is that the technical know-how is missing, and the producers are making beats based on how well it sounds.
So you're saying the producers themselves don't even know what they are doing?
Oh, my brother, half of them, my brother, because the technical positioning of the song starts with the beat, right? And if you don't know the kind of timing you are working with, then you can't tell me the kind of genre you fit in. Now, you guys are talking about Afrobeats. Afrobeats, aka Afro pop, Afro fusion, is an umbrella term to describe popular music from West Africa and the diaspora that initially developed in Nigeria, Ghana, and the UK in the 2000s and 2010s. Now let's stop at that statement. So Afrobeats is not a technical music categorization. Afrobeats is not defined by timing. It's not defined by rhythm. It's not defined by melody. It's defined by demographic. So anything that comes from Nigeria and Ghana and West Africa, that already doesn't fall into a traditional genre, right, of bobobo or high life or palm wine music. Anything that doesn't fall into any of these traditional genres and is on the outskirts, but is modern music from these regions, falls under this umbrella of Afrobeats. Afrobeats is less of a style per se and more of a descriptor. So it is not a style of music. It's a reference to tell you where the music is from, most likely what the influences might be, and most likely what to expect. Saying I am an Afrobeats artist doesn't tell me.
That's a location.
It's just a location.
Oh, you are from
this side. Case closed. Descriptor for the fusion of sounds flowing out of Nigeria and Ghana. Genres such as Highlife, Juju music, Highlife, and Niger beats, among others, were amalgamated under the Afrobeats umbrella. So when you say you are Afrobeats, you could be Afrobeats and still be heavily Highlife
or hip life.
You could be Afrobeats and still be heavily hip life. You can be Afrobeats and still be like Ladipo, who is heavily hip hop. Fireboy, DML, and Ladipo we played this morning. One was heavily towards Afropop, which is Fireboy,
Yeah.
and Ladipo was heavily towards hip hop. But by virtue of where they are coming from and the music they are making in contemporary times from that region, that song is an Afrobeat song. So there's a lack of technical understanding. We are fighting about names and things because people don't want to elevate themselves. If you're a producer, it's not about drum pad and just the software. Learn, read a book.
But also, Cyril, so at this point, who then defines the genre? Because now there's a confusion of the artist says, I am X artist, and then the song comes out and is X genre that can be identified under something else.
So the technical understanding of the product you have released is what should be able to do. And ignorance of the law is no excuse. We not knowing of the research is no excuse. We not knowing the type of rhythms should not be the fault of. I mean, this is our fault. We need to know what we've done. Like he rightly explained, which is just spot on. That if you're going on that 4/4, you're on a hip hop, the hip hop route. It is hip hop. Whatever you choose to do on it is not going to define what kind of song is your business. That's where the fusions are allowed, and people are going crazy with the fusions, and it's beautiful.
Sorry to cut you. What's the bang 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 bang? I've become so numb, I can feel you here. He's singing rock, right?
Yeah.
But it's on a hip hop beat.
Yeah.
So it makes
it's a
hip hop
track.
song.
That song won hip hop song of the year.
Yeah. So it was. It
didn't win any rock song award.
It's the same argument Shatabali used for I Know My Level.
Yeah. So that's why we are at a point where I keep saying that. Bless up to the term Afrobeats. Bless up to it.
To the collective at this point.
Bless up. Big up. Big up to it. But when the real technical people start looking deep into this thing, you're going to realize that the narratives are going to start changing. Now they'll want to really look at it again and say that, wait, then let us publicly put it out there that we are awarding the location, like he rightly put, where it's coming from, but not necessarily the genre or what you're doing. Because if it comes to genre, that's why very researchers from Africa or from Ghana or people who understand this very well are fighting and saying that high life would be our
liberation.
Our liberation. Yeah. High life, because it is a very powerful kryptonite, if I can call it as such. It's a very powerful one, a very powerful orb that we have kept under the rocks and under our mattress and under our beds. And if we allowed it to shine, you realize that we stand, and it's not something that you're saying you're going to use it to compete with Afro beats and because you want to be loud. No, we are aware of what we have. Very powerful. It's just because of how we look at high life. We see it as this old, crass, old school, old folks thing. But I keep saying that if today I dress, let me just even take into the fashion, and you saw, let's say FTY decides to develop a new fashion sense for high life, and our artists start wearing FTY high life. Me and you, Gen millennials, will start buying it and then trending it. And it changed the perception towards what we see it, how we see it as that old folks thing.
To add to what you're saying, right? I think there was a lot of resentment.
Remember that when you finish videos, because you've done very well. So
the reward for good work is more work.
More work.
There was a lot of resentment against high life because those who controlled what played where were mature, and music from the younger audience was consciously neglected and pushed back. We had somebody here. We had Kwekuti. We had Kwekuti here, and he was telling us, we had Eddie Blay here, and they were telling us about how their attempt to modernize music was pushed back, blah, blah, blah. So if you are treating a new generation that's trying to create something with that kind of resentment and pushback, they will also equally reflect that energy and resent what you hold dear, which is high life. So as much as they were trying to push hip life and all this rap and all this hip hop, they were doing it consciously with the resentment of high life in the back of their minds.
Exactly.
And that is a local problem, because guess what? As much as our parents and our seniors were resenting the uprising of these modern Ghanaian genres, they were still listening to reggae. They were still listening to Koos. They were still listening to R&B. They were still listening to dancehall everywhere, because our parents and our seniors and the gatekeepers at that time did not have control over the flow of those foreign genres into the space.
Yeah.
But they could control what you do with hip life. But they can't control what Shabba Ranks is doing. You understand? So that is why you have genres like dancehall, rap, all these things that are Western, still very popular, but we look down on our own, because the resentment is not against the genre. The resentment is against what we think the genre represents. We think it represents a cold, mature, typical Ghanaian, negative kind of thing that's for which kind of old people. Because people who used to celebrate high life were also the same people who were looking down simultaneously on any other fusion genre that was trying to emerge.
So it has made high life like generational.
Yes. Right? So it's locked. So the only people who cared about it was that same generation who didn't care about a hip life. Because high life, they're no more, you're more so more rapping, that kind of narrative.
That's an internal problem.
That's an internal problem. So we have killed it. That's the same thing that happened with Azonto. Right? Because what's the difference? They said Azonto was making us dance too much and they weren't saying anything proper and there's nothing in the lyrics. Jimmy and Kwa, blah, blah. What's the difference between Amapiano and Azonto? 3.5 minutes of this. And
what they paying me, say the day somebody they throw you, they will cut this part.
No problem. If they throw me, I go trend.
No, I don't talk for this issue.
For later on, no problem. When I run for president, say, is this your president? No, you understand? But think about it. You are telling me that there's no lyrics, there's no substance, there's no meaning in Azonto. It's pointless. Let's kill it. So we killed it. We all held the knife and stabbed Azonto in the heart. Choboy, Ayiko, we done it. Then you go and now every Ghanaian is on Amapiano, to the point that some of us are naming it Ghana Piano. After killing Azonto, are we okay? When we wake up, is everything working?
Charlie, people are winning 590 mobile.
I just want to say that based on all the things that Cyril has pointed out, I think it sets the solution in motion, in the sense that it comes back to the producers. It comes back to the producers and the
and we said this on past shows.
Yes,
10 billion times.
Yeah, it comes back to the producers. Juice, I don't know if you guys have seen. Juice is working on a project called Palm Wine Music Diaries.
Yeah, I think he posted it a few days ago.
Yes,
right?
and he's looking to champion. He is actually putting his mouth where his money is, or his money where his mouth is, to champion this revolution of the Ghanaian high life sound into a contemporary high life sound where it could be positioned.
He mentioned that.
Globally.
Yeah,
he mentioned it when he came the last time, and so he is a producer. So who understands. So it makes sense, right? But from what Cyril is saying, what I'm also saying is that most of the producers are just excited. They're excited about these other sounds they are hearing. So they listen to a record or listen to records and they hear some sounds in there and they think, oh, they can experiment it.
Sorry to cut you. It's not that they're excited. They are competitive. I've worked with producers. I've had a studio for almost 20 years.
Yeah, but
the producer go listen, say, oh, Lele, play some beat, and that track he play for King Promise. Hey, Charlie, the first thing he's going to do is start playing something that will sit in that space. Because to redefine himself and stand on his own and push something unique and say, yeah, that's dope, but this is my sound, and gather his own organic success around it. We don't like that. So you realize that when a style of music hits in Ghana, everybody is doing the same thing until that one dies. Yeah. You don't have diversity in our music. You can't compare Ruga to Fireboy. Almost total opposites. You can't compare Rima to Omale. Even though they are all in that same space, the sound is so distinctively unique. You can't compare Gucci to Ayastar. I go break in my waist, in my head. That's like last miss ding 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 ring 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 ring. That multiple timing on lyrics. In my waist, in my waist, in my waist, in my. It's like Friday ringing 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 ringing. In the lyric structure.
When I look into your eyes,
see my waist.
Charlie, people are winning big on 590 mobile. Just dialing *95.
You see my waist
hash now. So be it Monday special all the way to Sunday as Seda. The games are very exciting. When you make the money, don't go propagating the gospel as well. Please, people will help you chop it. Don't forget, it's only people who are above 18 who can play these games on 590 mobile by dialing *959 hash. Don't forget 590 mobile at Darwin Sem. Always take responsibly and brush your teeth day and night with Pepsodent Cavity Fighter. It contains, or more like fortified with fluoride and microcalcium ingredients that will help seal the tiny holes and invisible holes in your teeth and prevents cavities and keeps your teeth strong and your mouth healthy as well. And don't forget, 20% off your first download if you just jump on Yango and use the promo code 3music to get that 20% off your first 2 rides. How cool is that? On that note, it's 9:57. Our time is up. Cyril, thank you very much for the insight. You've done an amazing job, like I said, since January all the way to August, the
15th month.
Yes,
of the according to Ajimota.
Yes. We have been waiting for this day, and
we are
glad because today of all days. You don't go on our YouTube and comment and mention Cyril in there on our Twitter, then I don't think you've done a good job because today's Cyril has done an amazing job.
Of all the days, you forget
giving us insights into this. Now, they also say that some people can talk, maybe nothing the inside. Maybe all the thing you were saying too was you take people on an eye talk, but we'll go and investigate this.
No, but at the end of the day, I think I like to very understand. Let me also send this clarion call that there's been a lot of ask and talks about conversations that do not progress, the industry. And
but today he's given a very.
It's not even just today, bro. Culture Daily, we are about to be 1 year next month. For 1 year, 5 days a week, we come to sit here
to talk sense,
and we try as much as possible to talk sense. Sometimes people don't agree with us and everything, but you hear insights like these, and you would want to actually, So if you're a producer listening to this, wherever you're listening to this, or you're an artist listening to this, it's very important for you to also do your own due diligence, because Cyril and myself, or even Jefuli and Lenny, may not enter the studio to sing a song or to produce a beat. Well, for him, I don't know if he wants to go back to the studio, but for me, I
live in the studio, but I do voiceovers.
Because it's making you money
all the time.
You get me?
Please send invoice.
But the least we can do is to bring some of these insights, research data and whatnot to help your craft. So if you decide not to take them seriously and you decide not to do them, then please do not return to the platform and say,
I think we should have a Culture Daily Music Business Summit.
It's on the way.
CDMB.
This September, CDMB.
It's on the way.
This September.
I mean,
CDMB.
regardless, there's been
What's
a
the
lot
M
of.
for?
You see, and you know what's interesting, Jay.
What happens to the S?
Jay,
He said the.
you know what's interesting? There's been a lot of music business summits in this country.
Yeah.
If we really wanted to learn, we
Yeah.
learn long time. It's a Ghanaian attitude.
We
need
don't
to
like
fix it.
learning.
We don't like learning.
When we
don't
have the
like
Eagle
reading.
Summit, how many people came?
Thank you very much.
When we have,
Even the artists,
are they taking us off? I can hear the music.
Even the artists, the leading artists, apart from Sarkodie who showed up.
Yes.
Apart from Sarkodie who showed up, the leading artists that are supposed to have found themselves in that space to understand what it means to mine data and what data means to your industry and your music, they didn't show up.
Anyway, and yeah, Itri.
The talk, they will talk.